Square roots and cube roots, lesson 3 notes. Example number 3, find the solution to each. Notice how I already took the time to take the square root of both sides. Each one of these original problems was the variable was cubed. So because the variable was cubed, the inverse or the opposite operation for cubing a number is this, take the cube root. So I took the cube root of both sides. Pause your video and do that now. So again, take the cube root just like I did there of both sides. Pause your video and do that for each of A through H. Okay, now remember, if you are using one of the school calculators, to put in the cube root, you would put in the 3 first, then you would hit the second button, and then you'd hit the caret button. And if you look above the caret button, it says, it has the root symbol with an X there, because that's the way we're doing this is you could put any root. If you would press 5 second caret, that'd be the 5th root. If you would put in 11 second caret, that'd be the 11th root. All right, so this button allows you to put in any root that you need to. So you would press, again, if you're using the calculator from the school, 3 second, and then the caret button. Put the, enter the number in and hit enter. So remember, if you're doing it correctly, the 3 will get smaller. Make sure that 3 gets smaller. Okay, well, if you're at home, you may want to use the calculator on the iPad. So let me bring that up. Okay, and the cube root on the iPad is, it has that little, somebody called it a check mark the other day. Looks like the little check mark with the 3. So if I put an arrow right there, I don't know if you can see, it is the fraction button. It is 2 up from the fraction button. That is the cube root there. Okay, so I am going to take the cube root of each one of these problems. All right, it allows me to cancel out the 3. The cube root and the cube cancels out. I'm going to put in the cube root. Notice how it's got the 3 up top there of negative 64. Cube root of negative 64. You hit enter, and it's negative 4. So x equals negative 4. Remember, real numbers have 1 cube root, so it is just negative 4. Now, if you would accidentally put in the square root of negative 64 instead of the cube root, it would give you an error on your calculator because you can't take the square root of a negative number. Watch, if I try to do the square root of negative 64, it would give me an error. Okay, you can't take the square root of a negative number. All right, let's try B. The cube and the cube root are going to cancel. And I'm going to take the cube root of 125. The original number is positive, so my answer is going to be positive. So the cube root of 125 is 5. Therefore, 5 equals y. For C, the cube and the cube root cancel out. I'm going to take the cube root of negative 0.008. Always double check to make sure what you entered in the calculator is the same thing as what's typed on your paper. So I took the cube root of negative 0.008 and I get negative 0.2. So Z equals negative 0.2. For D, cancel out my cube and my cube root. They're inverse operations, so they cancel one another out. I'm going to take the cube root of negative 4.913. I hit enter. I get negative 1.7. So m equals negative 1.7. All right. I would like you to take a moment, pause your video, and I want you to do E through H on your own. Pause your video and do E through H on your own. Okay, let's see if you're correct. For E, the cube and the cube root cancel out. I'm going to take the cube root of 343 and I get 7. So 7 equals F. For F, cube and the cube root cancel out. I'm going to take the cube root of negative 27. I get negative 3. So n equals negative 3. For G, once again, the cube and the cube root cancel out. I'm going to take the cube root of 10.648. I get 2.2. So 2.2 equals G. And again, just like all other equations, if the variable starts on the right, keep it on the right. If it starts on the left, keep it on the left. The G started on the right, so I kept it on the right. Last problem for H. The cube and the cube root, inverse operations, so they cancel one another out. In the calculator, I put the cube root of negative 1,000, so oops, it's back. 1,728. And I get negative 12. So P equals negative 12. Okay. That is it for example 3. Make sure whatever work I have on the notes, you also have on your paper, including, go ahead and write that off to the side where it says cube root, 3 second caret number, and then enter. So whatever I have on this video, please make sure it is also written on your paper. If you have any questions about example number 3, please let me know.